Right, guys, we're back again. Old Tommy Boy's on holiday and he's gone AWOL after his race in Cozumel. So we're left with me, the cripple, Tom, the DNFer, and the champ, Max Stapley.
The first race I've ever won, mate. I reckon. I don't know if I've won a race in about 3 years, so it feels good.
Really, what was the last race you won? What do you reckon it was? Can you remember?
I got second at Arena Games, but the last race I won is a French aquathon championship when I was like 18 years old or something. So a long time
Really?
ago. Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
actually been that long since you last won a race?
Yeah, mate. It's few and far between for guys like me, for the old semi-pros knocking on the door. You don't get many wins, so
So it
you
must
got
have been an amazing feeling then, was it? Like when you were in the lead. I bet you were thinking, I can't give this up now when you knew you were like 5k to go on the run and you were like leading, weren't you?
Yeah, to be fair, it was a fucking good race, mate. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I wish more races were like that. It was, we started in the ocean 6:30 in the morning in Thailand, then we had to jump over like a sand dune to get into the lagoon to swim to transition. Like, first of all, you had to get a boat to the swim start. Like, this race
Really?
is really good, yeah. And then on the bike, you go kind of all around the island. You go through like an elephant sanctuary, and then you ride up and down some really, really steep hills, which you probably saw the video of me stuck in the 5428 up a fucking 30% ramp,
So,
mate. That was a big mistake.
for those of you that don't know, this was Laguna Phuket Triathlon, so it's in Thailand. Was it 2k swim, is it, or 1500 meter swim, something like that?
Yeah,
60k bike,
yeah.
and is it an 11k run?
12.
Some
It's like a funky
12.
distance.
All right,
Yeah.
12k run. So did you have the 54 on the bike? Is that what you had on there,
Well, I've been
or
riding
is it
around
not
on
big?
it. Yeah, it was a 54. I've been riding around on
54.
it on the island, and everything's pretty much flat here, apart from like this one section you go through in the race, which is an absolute bomb, mate. Like 15 to 30% like ramps, like really, really steep. Like you'd have to go up in first in your car. And I went to the bike shop for a tune up, and I said, "Oh, can you have a look at my bike, whatever?" And the Thai lady's like, "Oh, you have one bike," and I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, why?" And she's like, "Oh, are you sure you not get up the hill?" And I was like, and I looked at it and I was like, fucking hell, it's a 54. I'm no way I'm going to get up here. And she was like, oh, bad, bad. So I tried to get a new cassette, couldn't get a new cassette. And I just said, fucking hell, I'm going to have to just big dog it up the hill. And mate, I was honestly squealing like a pig up there. I was at 190 BPM, like left to right.
Really?
Yeah, I was squealing. I was actually at one point went, oh.
But
Yeah, I got through it.
you're probably lucky that they didn't change the chain ring because of that. It has to be a certain type for the one by. If they just put a normal chain ring on, the chain would have just kept dropping the whole time, and you'd have been absolutely fuming, wouldn't you, if that had
Yeah,
happened?
yeah.
I did see a picture of you, a little video clip on Instagram, and it looked like you were properly like grinding towards the top of the climb, like you're out the saddle and everything.
Yeah. I was looking at my power. I think I had to push like 470 watts just to keep the bike going. Otherwise, I would have
Oh,
had to run up the hill.
grim. And it's so hard to get the power out, isn't it, when the cadence is so low as well, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I was just like these hills are quite short, but they're super steep. But I could just see the top of each hill, and I was like, right, just get to the top, get to the top, and then I'd recover down the hill. But flipping heck, I was coming into T2, mate. I was thinking, how the fuck am I going to run off this? My legs are absolute bricks, but got through it in the end. So yeah, quite happy. It's a pretty prestigious race. Like Frodeno's won it before. I think Rudy Wild's won
Wow.
it before. Yeah, it's like they call it the race of legends. So I'm pretty chuffed with that. To be fair.
That is a big race. I've heard of it, and it's like a big end of season one, isn't it? Yeah, and your missus won as well. So it was like both of you got first place. So topped off a good little trip
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Thailand then.
yeah. Well,
And then
we were in the paper. We were in the Phuket Daily News, and the next day, kissing on the podium, mate. It was proper cringe.
really,
Yeah, there was a lady in the cafe that said, "Oh, I saw your newspaper," and I was like, "Oh, hey."
you're like a local celebrity out there now. You're gonna have loads of like Thai followers and stuff.
No, I'm just going to stay here and just be the king of Asia, do all the 70.3s, get loads of money, live on the beach.
The king of Phuket. What is it that guy calls you on Super League? Does he call you Big Easy or something
Yeah,
like
he calls
that?
me Big Easy, yeah.
Big Easy, winning in Thailand.
Making it look easy in Thailand, mate.
So, what did you have any lows this week? Obviously, that must have been a high. What did anything go wrong?
Uh, Yeah, I had a low yesterday, mate. Fucking hell. I tell you what, it's not that bad of a low, but I was well pissed off. So they got 7-Elevens here all over Thailand. Everywhere you go, 7-Eleven open 24 hours. So it's well good when you're on a ride because you get really hot. And like I drink this Pocari Sweat stuff all day. It's literally just electrolyte. And I was going out on the ride and I didn't have enough like supplies with me, so I stopped and got some Haribo and electrolyte and dunked it on the counter. And the lady behind the counter says, "Oh, sorry, mate. Card minimum 200 baht, which is like £5." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Well, just charge me 200 for that. Like, I don't care, Like, I'll just pay £5." She's like, "Oh, I can't do that. I can't do that." And I was like, "Oh, come on." And meanwhile, I had the bike outside, so you get a bit stressed out. Like, I just wanted to be in and out. And
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh shit!" And I got like 2 more bags of Haribo. She's like, "Oh, you're still 50 baht off." I was like, "Fuck! Like, just charge me 200. I don't care about this flipping. I don't care how much it costs." And then so I ended up having to go and get bloody Listerine and toothpaste to round it up to 200. So I did a 2-hour ride with Listerine and toothpaste in my back pocket because I needed to get the amount up. So I was well pissed off, and I got home and it was all warm and it ran down my jersey, mate. It was proper disgusting.
Oh, is that Listerine? The mouthwash stuff? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh. At least you had nice breath. At least you would have had nice breath after going to the cafe, or when you went to the cafe, or whatever at the end of the
Well,
ride.
yeah, I met up
And
with
then,
my
like,
missus at the cafe, and I had my supplies ready. I just smashed some
yeah,
Listerine.
just what Max is thinking. Like, he's having a he's got nice breath and everything for when he comes and sees me at the cafe. Like, this is what a nice, thoughtful person.
She's thinking he finally made a bit of money. He's taking care of himself.
Yeah. What did you think of that TT bike that you were using? Like, I've lent you my TT bike, haven't I? Like, was it up to scratch for you then? Like, does the job?
Oh, mate, it's
Not too
bloody,
battered.
it's bloody brilliant. But I'll tell you what, I was riding it. I rode it the first time, no problems, and hopped on
Yeah.
it the second time. And Kate's like, "What the fuck is that noise?" And I'm just like looking down, and it's going. And I'm like, "Oh, it must just be like whatever. It just must just be the heat, whatever." And it did it for the whole ride. And I was like, "Oh, I need to get this checked out." And I went into the bike shop, and the lady was like, "Oh,
Is it
bottom
a
bracket."
lady mechanic then? Is it a
Yeah,
female
yeah.
mechanic that does
Yeah,
all the
so
bikes? I've never
it,
even seen that before. Like,
I
normally they're
don't know if she
always
does
like
the
men here.
mechanics, but she's got like an apron on, and she's like the owner of the shop.
Really? So
Yeah, yeah,
she knows her shit then.
yeah, definitely, yeah, 100%.
Wow.
And she's like, "Oh, your bottom bracket's fucked. It's cracked, and all the bearings are destroyed." And I was like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "I'm gonna need to fully replace everything in here." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, whatever, no worries." And then I wrote to you, and I was like, "Oh, I think the bottom bracket's a bit old, mate." He's like, and then you said what? You said, "Yeah, I wrote it through winter."
That was my training one. But now you've got the bottom bracket sorted, I'll have it back, and that'll
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
do the job now. You can post it back if you want. Now you've
yeah,
given it a service and everything and fine-tuned it.
yeah. I'll get it to you, mate. No worries.
Yeah. At least at least I know it's up to winning shape.
Yeah.
Um, I had a low when I was in Gran Canaria last week, and they had like hire bikes at the place where I was staying. And I hired a bike, or like they gave me a bike to use. And on the first ride, went down the hill. So it's literally like 200 meters into the ride, 250 meters, something like that. And we got to a roundabout, and I didn't know we were heading left. Like, it looked like we were heading straight on. So I went to head straight on, and the guy who was on the outside went to head left, and I went plowing into him, and like went down on the bike. The bike got like scratched. The rear mech was bent and everything. He must have thought, "Oh my god, who's this chopper?" Because he had like no idea like who I was. He was just out there like giving me the bike to use and came out on a
Yeah,
ride with me. So first like literally 40 seconds of the bike ride, I nearly took him down. I went down myself and like totaled it on his bike, and I was like, "Oh, what a nightmare!" So then had to walk back up the hill because I couldn't even ride back up the hill because we thought the rear mech might get pulled off. And he had to sort it out, but that was a bit embarrassing. Like, for your first ride, taking someone down, like literally less than a minute into it. But
I've
yeah,
done that
luckily,
before. Though. That's an easy mistake to make. Like when there's kind of like confusion around a roundabout or a corner, someone goes straight, you go right or left, and you end up bodying each other at the. You know,
yeah,
you end up bodying
I
each
know.
other, and
I
you
was
look at
like,
each other like, whose fault was that? Like.
yeah, I was like, bloody hell, I thought we were going straight on. It looked like we were going straight on. He's like, no, we have to go left. And I was like, oh right, well I didn't know. It was like I'd actually hadn't been for a ride yet.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, he must have thought, what a chopper. But luckily, he still let me use the bike for the rest of the week after and then he like sorted it out. Um, but other than
Mate,
that, it was all good.
yeah, I've seen you on Instagram training for Hyrox, mate. You got a conversion coming up. You done with Ironman or something?
Done with Ironman, mate. I'm hybrid athlete now. No, I actually entered this in June last year, or no, not last year. June earlier this year, as like a bit of an end of season. I was planning on doing like finishing the season with Florida, having a few weeks off, and then doing Hyrox just for a bit of fun because it was like 3 weeks after Florida. So I thought it would be pretty fun to do before I got back into training. And
Yeah,
then obviously didn't do Florida, had a bit of time off, and I thought, actually, you know what, I might still do the Hyrox. Like, and I thought I'll do a little session this week, and I'll see how it goes. Make sure I can do some of the stuff. So I had a crack in the gym yesterday, trying the sledge push, sledge pull, and all that, making sure I could actually push it and everything. And thought I think I could do all right in this. Although I will say that the sledge push could be the one that undoes me, because I've tried to do it. You're meant to push 202 kilos, and I tried 202 kilos in the gym yesterday, and I couldn't move the bloody thing.
you
And
couldn't
then
move it.
I couldn't move it with 202 kilos. I don't know if it was the surface or what, but me and a few others tried it, and none of us could move it. So then I tried 180. I could move it with 180, but the surface, obviously, they reckon makes a massive difference, because if you've got a grippy surface, then the sledge just doesn't roll, does it? You know, it doesn't
Yeah,
slide.
yeah, yeah.
Whereas if you've got a really like low friction surface, the sled, once you get it going, it would just like, you can just keep it going easy. But I couldn't even start the bloody thing with 200 kilos. All the other stuff, for people that don't know, Hyrox is basically you do a 1K run, then an exercise, and then a 1K run. And there's 8 1Ks in total and 8 exercises. So you do a 1K run and then a different exercise. And like the exercises range from like some kind of like aerobic-y stuff. So like the first one is like a K on the ski erg. Then you've got sledge push, sledge pull. Then you have like farmer's carry, where you have to carry like 2 32-kilo dumbbell kettlebells. You have lunges with 30 kilos. You have to do that for like 100 meters. Um, Rowing machine for a K. That's obviously like a cardio based one. Do you know burpees? What a
Yeah,
burpee
yeah,
is?
they're bloody hard, aren't they?
Yeah, so you have to do a burpee and then a jump, and you have to cover, I think it is 100 meters or something like that,
Oh,
80
that's
or 100
grim.
meters.
How long does the
Yeah,
event take if you got 8 by 1K and all this? Must take hours.
top people 56 minutes.
Oh,
If
that's
you're under an
quite,
hour, you're like rapid, like that.
yeah.
That's like the holy grail. That is an hour. So you want to be trying to shoot for that. And if the sledge push goes as badly as what it did in the gym yesterday, it will take me an hour to get that bloody thing pushed because I couldn't move it. Um, but
How fast? What's your pace? What's your pacing for the 1Ks? How are you going to do it? You're going to take a lactate? You're going to use your heart rate? What are you doing?
I'm just gonna like, for the first one, I'll get stuck in a bit because it goes into a ski erg. So 1K run ski erg's not too bad. The second one, I'm definitely gonna knock it down a bit because the sledge push is my biggest hindrance at the moment. That's the only one. I tried the sledge pull and that was a piece of piss.
Yeah.
That was 150 kilos you have to pull on the sledge, but which sounds a lot worse than what it is. Wasn't that bad, but the push is tough. So I need to make sure I go into that not breathing at my ass, because if you go into that hard and you're puffing, you can't get the power to push it. Then you got to push it 50 meters. So
Were you on the same surface to pull and push?
yeah, same surface. Yeah,
And it felt fine on the pull?
yeah. But the pull's 50 kilos less,
Oh, yeah.
and it's just easier. Like the
Yeah,
push,
yeah,
mate,
yeah.
grim. But for a big lad like you might be able to really fire up them glutes, hammies, and everything. Like I could see you doing well. Would you
In the
do it if
high.
you were back here and say that triathlon in Phuket was your last one this season? You had like, and this Hyrox was a week after, and you were in England anyway. Would you have given it? Do you reckon you'd give it a go just for
Yeah, for
shits and
sure.
giggles?
Definitely. I love all that. I always like, after triathlon, I'll be big into stuff like that, I reckon, and like jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai and all this crazy shit that you can't do when
UFC,
you're. Yeah, mate.
UFC, mate.
Like, we went to a Muay Thai the other night. Fucking crazy,
Was
dangerous.
it?
Oh yeah, really good though. If you come to Thailand, definitely go to a Muay Thai. It's all like ceremonial. They got the headdress. They walk in, and then it's like proper physical, like crazy.
Is that their key sport in Thailand? Like, is that their national sport kind of
Yeah,
thing?
that's their national thing. Yeah, yeah, Muay Thai.
So would these like top Muay Thai fighters, would they be like making big money and they're like on the TV and stuff like that? Like, do you
I'm not
reckon?
sure, but there's posters everywhere for it. It's quite big. Like when you go, there's loads and loads and loads of people that watch it. And like I think that fighting's quite big here because you got loads of the UFC guys that train here as well. Like we sit at the cafe and you got guys that walk in, like you know, Khabib, you know, like the big beard, like all
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, like Dagestani guys that walk in with like the cauliflower ears, and I tell Kate, "Well, don't mess with them, you know, like don't you know, don't say anything because they'll fuck me up, like you know, I don't have to deal with them."
Going back to the Hyrox, there's a few triathletes doing that. Former professional triathlete that you know, Gordon Benson, sub 7 team manager. He's in it, and he starts 40 minutes behind me. Went to the Olympics, didn't he? And big training partner of the Brownlees. Like you've
Yeah,
trained with him, haven't you yourself, quite a bit? How do you reckon he'll go? What do you fancy his chances as?
mate, but he's a seasoned veteran. He's done loads. I've been chatting to him quite a bit actually, like about this whole thing. He was telling me, "Oh yeah, mate, no, like going Hyrox, you know." He talks, and he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"I fucking love Hyrox, me." and, and I see him on Strava. He logs all his rowing and all his running on Strava. So I think he got some stiff opposition, mate. It's going to be the battle of the triathletes.
What's his running like nowadays? Then, what do you reckon? Like, how do you reckon he's
Well,
running?
I don't know, but I've heard he's a big lad. He was already a big
Yeah,
lad before, but you
but
know,
I could imagine him doing quite well because even if he's not training on the running, he's probably still going to naturally be fast, isn't he? But if
yeah,
he's got the power for the sledge push and everything like that, he's gonna fly, isn't he? Around that.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
Do
That's
you know
sub
he did?
seven.
Do you know he did
What?
sorry, just you know he did an event the other day in Yorkshire. He did the World Coal Carrying Championships. Gordon did,
Really?
where you
How?
carry a
What?
bag of coal up a hill. I think he got
Oh,
fourth. Yeah,
really?
yeah,
So
yeah,
he's
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
He's on form. He's on
Mate,
form. He's already said to me. He saw my video that I posted up yesterday on Instagram, and he said, "See you there, woof woof."
Legend,
Yeah,
legend.
so I'll see him there. What did you think of the sub 7? Because obviously, for people that don't know, you were involved, weren't you? And you were like, you had to swim with the form goggles on, didn't you? That were like telling you your pace. Uh, how did they go? I bet they came up with some dodgy numbers, didn't they?
No, they were min. They were min. I loved foam goggles. Like proper fan of the foam goggles.
Yeah, because they probably tell you that your speed's a lot quicker or something than what it actually is, like in open water. Like you're
Well,
swimming to.
the problem what I said to the developer when he asked me was like, um, he's like, "Oh, how's the product? Whatever is you get the pace. In the pool. They're honestly like they're a great product. I use them loads in the pool, and they give
What,
you
you
like a
use them
little
now? Do you swim with them now then in the pool?
yeah
Like to train
sometimes
with?
yeah
Really?
when I'm on my own. And but have you used them before?
I have, but it was like I had tunnel vision in the pool, and I was like swimming over people in the public. Like the woman probably thought I was like trying to touch her up or something. Like getting in touch with the lifeguards and everything. I nearly lost my gym membership. Like so, a bit.
Foam goggles cost new gym membership.
Yeah, it was the goggles, honestly.
The same ones that Christian wears. That's how he picks up birds. He just wears his foam goggles and swims
Yeah, and
over
he
them.
ends up swimming over them, and they're like, Jesus, like he's a bit forward. This one.
Oh, take it easy, Christian.
Yeah.
No, no. I mean, yeah, they're all right. They just display in open water. That I think they're not quite up to scratch because like they rely on the GPS of the watch, and that's often pretty crappy.
Yeah. No. Well, how come you don't just use a watch though when you're swimming in like the pool?
No, I don't know. I just
A
don't. I
lot
just
of
use the
a,
clock.
a lot of swimmers don't like using a watch, do they? Like
Yeah, I
it's like
feel
they've
like it
got
gets
something
in the
against
way
it.
when I put my hand in the water. Like I feel like drag with my right. You know what I mean?
Really, what you feel like
Yeah.
the watch is like dragging? It's just like ruining your stroke and everything.
Yeah, I feel like it's disrupting my flow.
So when you do a triathlon, so when you did this like Laguna one on the weekend, like long distance, did you not wear a watch for the run? Did you, or did
Yeah,
you
yeah,
like
I
have to?
wore a watch. I wore a watch because I wanted to look at my heart rate. Because mate, it's so flipping hot here. Like it's different heat. Like, have you ever been to this part of the world before?
Yeah, I've been there. It's like similar to Kona. It's just fucking humid, isn't it? Like you're just
Yeah,
sweating, just
humid.
like sat
Yeah,
there all the time. What's
yeah,
so did you put the what? Did you have a watch on for the swim or not?
yeah, yeah,
So and did it feel a little weird when you were swimming
yeah. It
then?
felt weird. It felt well weird.
That's you proper triathletes. Going
Yeah.
back to that Gordon and that, and obviously the sub 7. But don't you think it would be good if we did like another sub 7, like like some kind of team format, like we did there? Like, what would you like to see if they did some kind of team event again? Like, would you like to see a lot more teams doing it at once, or just like head to head between like two triathletes? Like, imagine if they asked for you, like, we're going to give you the money, Max. What do you reckon would be good to watch and like an exciting race? What would you do?
I flipping loved Sub Seven. I thought it was great. Like everything about it. You had so many people involved, all the brands. like at the race hotel the night before. Like you remember, we were both there. Like you had loads of cyclists, runners, swimmers, like all the brand reps, and it just felt like a really, really like different event. So to have it again would be mad. But what I reckon is you need to have 3 to 4 athletes this time, and you say, all right, you can pick your team of 5 to 7 athletes, depending on how many like the budget is, right? Because you need to pay everyone,
Yeah.
and just make it work, and we'll see who wins. Basically, about like you can call it like an iron battle or something, like or sub. Yeah, you wouldn't call it sub 7 anymore because you've obviously done it, but
Yeah.
you could call it like the iron battle or like the showdown or something.
Would you start all 4 teams off together? So like everyone
Yeah,
starts at the same time. All right.
yeah, I
So
reckon
there.
everyone together because you
But
want
they're
them
not
to.
allowed to draft each other, are they, on the bike? Like one team's not
Like,
allowed to draft another team, are they?
I think keep the same format, but put 4 people in, and then
Yeah.
3 people in. So then it creates like a real dynamic, and then you can
Yeah.
build the hype like all week, like getting the rivalries going between the teams, and it's
Yeah.
really good like viewer entertainment. Because when you barked at Christian, that's still one of the most viral moments in triathlon, isn't it?
Yeah, it probably is actually, to be honest. Yeah. Crazy. Like
Yeah. Well, people love it. They love you. That's what you need. You need to entertain the people because, like, all these races we see all the time are well boring. Like, no one wants to watch us, ride around a car park in Italy or something. Like, you want entertainment, and I think that's what Sub 7 gave. It gave like obviously amazing performances, but also like it was extremely entertaining. And then because it was long, you got to have like the guy from Morton on there explaining like nutrition, the guy from Giant or Argon explaining the bikes, and then all that to the viewer, and the viewer was like properly engaged.
so it might even be enough to tempt you away from short course racing, do you reckon? You might even
Or
be like, well, see you later, British Triathlon. I don't want to buy another tri suit off you. I'm going to go. And you're going to go rogue like me, where you end up having them chase you for your bills and stuff. Like that entry fee is haunting me, mate. Like I might be ending up racing for Bahrain or something at this rate. Like,
you might go AWOL, might
yeah.
defect.
If you don't hear from me again, it's not from my choice. It was because British Triathlon have kidnapped me until I pay the money.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, of course, like I made some pretty good money on the weekend, and I said it on another show. Like when you see some of the money that we make in our racing, it makes you think, bloody hell, am I doing this for charity or like, you know, what am I doing this for? So obviously, like with the PTO and all that, the crazy price purses, and obviously sponsors are way more interested in long course. It makes you think, at least maybe a hybrid program or something where you do Super League, long course, and a bit of ITU. But yeah, it's a difficult time to be a short course triathlete. Like that, I'm not going to lie.
So your next race is Bahrain, isn't it? Like when is that? Is that like a week this weekend? Some around that? Is it like the following
Uh,
Friday? Is it
it's
next
like
Friday?
so it's not. So you got Friday tomorrow. It's not next Friday. It's the one after.
All right, so you've got 2 weeks from tomorrow,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
just over 2 weeks now. If in Bahrain you smash it, you get a really good result. I don't know, top 3, something like that. That would be a decent
yeah,
result, wouldn't it? In that race, like looking
yeah.
at who's racing. So let's just say you get like a top 3, you get some decent money, and you get like a sponsor or two, like that, like end up sponsoring you for next year. Would that be the end for like doing the World Triathlon Series or whatever, all that kind of stuff? Not Super League because you love Super League, don't you? Like you
Yeah.
probably love that. So like, but would that spell the end for the ITU racing for next year, or would you still do that? Like, so regardless of how Bahrain goes, will you still do it? Or if you get a really good result in Bahrain and things are like, and you're thinking, God, I'm getting some more right money here, I could get some good sponsors. Would that be enough to tempt you away for a
Well,
year?
I think I still want to have a pop at the Olympics, so I don't think I'm quite ready yet. But I mean, for sure, like it'd be hard. It'd be hard to say no, right? Because I know a lot of these sponsors are only just interested in long course. Like if you say, "Oh yeah, but I'm racing on triathlonlive.tv for 50 quid a month," they'll just be
Why
like,
do they charge people for that? Because to me, it doesn't make sense because it just stops more people getting into the sport. Like you'd think that they would want to keep it, like make it free and just get as many people interested as possible. Like why do they charge? Has anyone like any of the athletes asked them? Because I mean, obviously they're charging like a shitload of money, like you say, like 10, 15 quid a month to watch it. But why are they not giving the money to the athletes? Like I can understand, like what do they do with this money? Like it's
I,
crazy.
I genuinely have no idea. Like, I think that's one of the biggest things that athletes say is like, why are people having to pay to watch us? Because like it's
It's
crazy
not
that
a big enough sport, is it? It's
yeah,
not big enough at the moment. You need to get people interested before you charge them. But also, it's not like the money even goes to the athletes. I mean, could you imagine in boxing, like you get a fight with like a couple of big names and stuff, and all the money from the TV revenue goes to the people that are like I don't know, goes to the promoters, and the fighters get zero money from the TV revenue. There would be absolute uproar. It just would not happen. Like what? I don't understand how the ITU can charge to watch it, and then the athletes don't get any cut of the money. It's like if all the
yeah,
athletes said, "Well, you know what? If you don't give us a cut, we're not going to race this race tomorrow." They haven't even got a product. Do you know what I mean? Like, but they're
yeah,
using the
yeah,
athletes racing, and then the athletes don't get any money. I mean, you'd at least expect 50% of the total TV revenue to go to the athletes, like as and then they divvy it out or something. But like, I just think that's crazy that they do that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I agree with you, but I've got no answers. Like, I don't know what's going on. I've tried to ask some athlete reps before because we've got athlete reps, but
Yeah.
they, to be fair to them, I think they try, but they seem to just be like a bit of a box ticking exercise where they've got this athlete council, and then they say, oh, we got the athlete council, but a lot of the decisions that are made are already made, and they just swipe them past the athlete council, and the athlete council goes, oh yeah, we'd like to amend it, and they go, well, you can't. Decision's made. So what's the
Well, what
fucking
about if the athlete council just said, "All right, well, we ain't going to race tomorrow, so see you later. Like, you
no,
better organise some other athletes."
like I've thought of this a lot, and like we've spoken a lot of people. Like I'm probably one that's quite vocal compared to most, but a lot of people are thinking the same thing. Like this is crazy. We need a union. We need like to be able to have more spots on our tri suits. We need to be able to like have like corporate sponsors sponsor the events because like we don't have any corporate sponsors. There's like NTT and a few others, but think about it. If you opened it up to privatization, yeah, if you said tomorrow, right, okay, we're going to privatize this series, we're going to sell the blue carpet brought to you by whatever, the swim brought to you by whatever, the bike brought to you by whatever. Like you could sell like every aspect of the race, and that would create so much revenue for the athletes, but also would make our racing worth something. Because right now, the only worth it's got is you can go to the Olympics, which is great, and I want to do that, and my Kate wants to do that, and we're really really motivated to do that. But the issue is that your Olympic pursuit is costing you your living, like realistically.
Basically, the athlete board almost needs to say, these are the changes we want to see." Basically, all the stuff what you've said, and if they say no, then the athlete board says to the athletes, "Right, guys, let's all just boycott ITU until they do it." And
Yeah,
if
that
everyone
won't.
just boycotted it,
Yeah,
I know if they did and they
that won't
didn't
happen.
actually have a series, then they would literally have to change after the first race, basically, wouldn't they? Because imagine if they had like the race in Abu Dhabi and
Yeah,
two people turned up or three people. It's like, well, what are they going to do for the next one if everyone says, and we're going to do the same thing for the next one if you don't turn up? And in the meantime, all these guys are just competing in long course racing
yeah.
until they get changed, and then all of a sudden, overnight, boom! All right, we're gonna change it, and then there you go, sorted, job done, two
Yeah, I mean,
races.
in theory, that's how industrial action works, right? When you see a train strike
It's
or a
like a
nurse,
strike, yeah. Just basically
yeah,
be a strike, wouldn't it? We're not going to turn up to work unless you change these things for us. But it's almost like it seems like in ITU, everyone moans, but then they're all at the next race. So it's almost like you got your employers who are like getting employed by the ITU, and they're moaning saying this job's shit, this is crap. I wish I got paid more. And then the employer's like, "Yep, but I'll see you on Monday at 9." And you're like, "Yeah, all right." And then like
you
Monday
just say,
comes and
you don't say all
they're
right.
there.
You say thank you, sir.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, see you there. See you on Monday. And then Monday comes and they're working, they're grafting again, and they're meant to finish at 5, gets to 6 p.m. and they're finishing. They're like, "Yep, see you tomorrow. See you on Tuesday." They turn up and it just goes round and round like that. And the employers just moan to each other, "This is shit. We're getting taken for a mug here." But like, they still keep turning up.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. You summed it up pretty well. Like I don't really know what to say because at the end of the day, I'm one of them guys.
and then And then they go, "I've had enough of this. I'm going to do long course." And then they say, "Oh, to their mates, you should come and do it. Like, it's a lot better. You can pick and choose what races you want to do and stuff." But like, the thing is, it would. I think the potential for short course to earn more money is definitely there, but they just
Yeah,
need to. They just need to do these changes. But I don't understand why the ITU wouldn't want to make more money, because surely if they make more money, they can make better. They've got more power to do better races and stuff, haven't they? Or more money to invest in TV coverage to try and get bigger sponsors. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really understand. Like, I'm all ears if anyone's got any solutions. Like, I think it's pretty simple. You just need to privatize the circuit. If you privatize the circuit and open it up to investment, and obviously that might take a few years to get proper corporate sponsors on board, but like, I don't think people realize how good all the short course guys and girls are. Like, if you put any of these guys and girls on a TT bike and like put them in a long course race, they're going to smash it. Like, they might not
Yeah,
win, but they'll be up there for sure. Like, the standard is so high among short course athletes, and I know, like, personally, I know all the guys on the circuit pretty much, and all the girls, and it's just insane that these people are so undervalued and disrespected in a way, because they basically, what they're saying is, we don't value you enough to pay you enough to pay your bills, and you're gonna have to pay to get to your race, and you're gonna have to pay for this. But until there's major change, like, who knows, maybe Super League makes a big move, or PTO goes into short course, like, it's basically like a supermarket that's got no rivals, so they can charge whatever price they want for the food.
yeah. You can take
Like,
a horse to water, mate, but you can't make it drink. Like,
yeah.
how can I get on the athlete board? I'd get on the athlete board and like stir the pot up a bit. Like, what do I need to do to get onto it?
I don't know. I think you might need to
Like,
race.
how do I do it?
Do you need to race a short course race to be on the athlete board? I'm
Why,
not sure.
why would I need to race a short course race though? Like,
Oh,
can't I just
you
race a
race
shit?
You race ITU Worlds, right? So technically, you
Yeah,
have done an ITU race.
I just enter a shit short course race and then I just put my name down for the athlete board. Like, how do I do it? Like, I'd be up
Let's
for
see. Do
it.
you
Like,
reckon we could
I've got
nominate you
nothing
for
to,
the athlete
I've
board?
got nothing to lose. Like, I'm a loose cannon. Like,
How funny would
uh,
that be if you and I got elected to the athlete board and we were just sitting there in front of the commission?
yeah, I would definitely be up for it. If anyone knows how to do it, just let me know. Anyway, Cozumel, what do we think of that? Like, swim was
Uh,
cancelled, and it looked like a calm day. I mean, you grew up in Australia, probably did surf lifesaving, and I think the wave was about what I saw was about a foot. I did hear people say, apparently, the current changed, so instead of having a current pushing you, you had to swim against it. But surely that's part of the course, isn't it? Sometimes you're going to win and you get the current push you. Sometimes you're going to lose and you're going to have to swim into the current. Like, surely it should have just gone on, or just do
yeah,
the swim like make a little swim course up or something, and you just do like, I don't know, 4 or 5 laps, or something like that. But
yeah,
like, surely it should have gone on, shouldn't it? Like I feel like triathlon's getting so flipping soft with all these swims getting cancelled.
yeah. I
People
mean,
are
I
entering
think
races when they're not fit enough to do it, aren't they? Like,
I think the issue is, Ironman are so concerned about safety of the athletes that then it affects the pro race. Like, there should be a different set of rules for the athletes, and like, if they're that worried about deaths, first of all, make it harder to enter a race, and second of all,
yeah,
have different rules for the pros and for the age groupers, because you're talking about professional athletes that spend their life training to swim, bike, and run, and then you're going to say, as soon as a little wave, oh well, no, we can't go in that, but. So then you just might as well not have any races in the ocean then, because if your threshold is so low, you, like in South Africa, every year they shorten the flipping
yeah.
swim. Well, what's the
Yeah, that's
point?
why we like it. That's why I like it. Uh,
King of
sign me
South
up.
Africa.
Yeah. But what I don't get is, like, it's supposed to be like Ironman prides itself, on being like the hardest 1 day endurance event in the world. So, like, surely it should be hard to finish it. And if some people get unlucky and they have to swim against the current and they can't finish it, that's sod's law. It's not supposed to be
Yeah,
easy, is it? That, like, I actually think if there was a higher DNF rate, people would look at it and give it a lot more respect, because they'd be like, you have to train bloody hard for this. It's not
yeah,
a given that you're going to finish. Like, whereas I think just making it softer and softer kind of dumbs it down a bit, and having all these cancellations and stuff. Plus, I'd be gutted if it was my first one, the swim got cancelled. I'd be a bit like, oh, what a nightmare. Like, still haven't
but
done it.
yeah, that's the thing, is then it takes all credibility away from, like, obviously Leon Chevalier is super strong and whatever, but everyone's always going to say, yeah, he won it, but there was no swim, or but this or but that, which is shit for us as well as athletes, because you tell yourself, well, you want to go to a race to be competitive and to like get your bonuses and get your credit, whatever. But then if it's turned into a duathlon or whatever, which it was this year for us as well, at a few races, it just turns it into a shit show.
Yeah. Um, and the other race that you were going to go on about was this ITU race, wasn't it? I can't remember what it was called. You knew what it was called, but I did see the clip, and you let the listeners
Uh,
know what happened in this one, because it's very controversial, wasn't it? Like,
yeah,
wasn't
right.
this
So this is,
important?
yeah. Well, okay. To set the scene, this is an end of year World Cup in Chile, in South America, where a lot of women were fighting for their Olympic spot, mainly American women. So you had Katie Zafiris, Gwen Jorgensen, and a few other Americans fighting for their Olympic spot or ranking or whatever. And basically you had a race where Katie Zafiris, along with a French girl, a Spanish girl, a Czech girl, and a Brazilian, all broke away on the bike, worked together really well, and got like a minute gap or something. So like brilliant racing. Then I was watching it live here, and
You were watching it live, so you saw all this shit happen
yeah,
in
yeah,
real time. Then
I
basically,
was watching it live, and then and they were leading. Katie had a terrible transition, still caught up, dropped everyone, won the race, flipping awesome, breakaway win. She wins her first World Cup in I don't know how long, and Gwen Jorgensen comes third. However, like straight after the race, the coverage cuts, and the commentators say, "Oh, there's been a protest made by Gwen Jorgensen, whatever."
is that who
Because
made the protest?
yeah, Gwen went straight to the officials, made the complaint, and
Yeah.
because what had happened was, despite the course map being like literally a line through the thing, the official had forgotten to signal there being like a left right as
It was
opposed to
basically you had to bear left. They actually ended up running further because they made
yeah,
the corner wider, didn't they? So they didn't
yeah,
actually help themselves. They actually ran
yeah,
it slightly further because they were on the outside, realised they'd gone wrong, and then cut over the fence and ended up not gaining anything, did they? It was
yeah.
not a good
They didn't gain
advantage what they
anything.
had.
They didn't gain
Yeah.
anything. And what's funny was that course was used the week before for Pan American Games, and you had the Brazilian guy and Hidalgo and Grajales, the Mexican, who did the same thing and hopped over the traffic island, and they didn't get disqualified or penalized. So from one week to the next, the ITU have decided to change their mind that no, we're just going to disqualify these girls this time. And on that podium, you had the Czech girl who has had a breakthrough year, who's her second ever World Cup podium, and it's huge for her. Like Czechoslovakia don't have many triathletes, and potentially that's cost her like a ranking to get to the Olympic Games. And Katie
Really? Could
Zafiris,
that stop her from going to
yeah,
the Olympics? That could stop her from getting to the Olympics then,
well,
that.
let's say she has a shit start of the year next year and drops in the rankings. That someone else overtakes her, and she's lost her World Cup podium from this year. She's fucked.
Wow.
So
Um,
yeah,
and just to talk about this, the actual bit, what they did wrong. So we'll post this up on our Instagram. But I think as well that there's massive sour grapes because if I was behind and I saw them doing that, and even if someone protested it, like let's just say so I was going to finish, I don't know, fourth or fifth or something like that, and then I would have got moved up to second because someone else was going to protest. If I saw that, I'd say no, I don't want it. Like they fucking
yeah,
beat me fair and square. Like there should have been a marshal really there telling them to stay left. There wasn't. So and you know what it's like when you're in you're in a 5K, your ball's out, you're 2K, 2.5K, coming up to 2.5K to go. In a race
yeah.
like that, you're literally at the mercy of the marshals, aren't you? Because as people
You're
can
not
say,
thinking. You're not thinking
yeah, you're
about
not
it.
thinking.
You're just
And that's why you do these races, isn't it? Because you want to be on the limit, but you need marshals to tell you and to help you out because you can't think of a course map. It's not like where you're going on a little jog and you know where you're going. It's literally like your heart rate's at 190, you're flat out, you're on the limit, you're racing 3 other people, and you're racing, like you say, to get to the Olympics. It's fucking massive. I think that's fucking sour grapes complaining, to be honest. I'd be right
yeah, it's
fucking put out.
disgusting. And to
If
be fair,
someone did that to me and they complained and I was going to get moved up to second place, I'd say, what the fuck you doing? Like, they beat us fair and square. Just fucking accept it. Like, there weren't a marshal there, and I'd give him my medal and say, I'd give my medal back to the person who got second and say, here you go, have it. Like, I don't want to gain from this because I wasn't good enough on the day. And it's basically a technicality that you're complaining on to get moved up. I think that's fucking sour grapes, except that you got beaten and there weren't a marshal there, and like, get better next time. I hate people that try and like move themselves up because like they try and do stuff like that. Don't you think it's fucking sour, isn't it? It's like you got
yeah,
beaten fair and square. You weren't good enough,
yeah.
like.
It's disgusting behavior, and from a very kind of like a usual culprit, like the person who put the complaint in. I won't name the name, but I mean you can find it pretty quickly on socials.
Well,
Like,
you've already told us. You said it was Gwen Jorgensen.
yeah, there you go.
Like, you're ready.
but like it's just like, and people say, "Oh, rules are rules," whatever. Like, yeah, but the thing is,
She might have gone wrong if there was people
yeah,
if she was at the front because there was no marshal there. So
yeah,
like
there
she
was
was
no
just lucky
marker.
that she.
And if you look back at the course map on what they were given at briefing, there was no way you could tell that was the way to go. So the fault is on the
Well,
organisers
she was
themselves.
probably like wacky racers. She was probably like close enough that she was shouting right, right, right. And the other girls went right. She went left, and she was probably like, "Oh yes, when I appeal this at the end, I'm getting moved up." This is like, like what's that guy's name from Wacky Racers? Like Dick Dastardly or something. Was that his name?
But like,
Like,
yeah,
oh
to
yes.
be fair, apparently the only person on that podium who didn't put in a protest, because there's other girls that, like, not only Gwen complained, and then a bunch of other girls behind them helped her in her protest, which is
Oh
why it
my god.
ultimately went through. So they ganged up on these four girls, and the only one that didn't put in the protest was Vicky Holland from GB. To be fair, so it's ridiculous. And like, how is that the fault of the athlete? How is the athlete supposed to know that that's the way to go when you've got no one telling you where to go and the course map looks flipping straight?
The
Like,
kind of people that complain about that are the kind of people you'll go out on a night out and they'll never buy a fucking round, mate. You know, they'll be there, they'll get them, they'll put themselves sixth in line or seventh in line to get around,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
knowing that people are only going to stay for 5 rounds. They've got 5 rounds free, and then they fuck off because they've got to get home. That's the
And then
kind
they'll
of
say,
people
"Oh,
that complain like that.
the missus is calling. Sorry, lad. See you
Yeah,
later."
oh, Mrs. Corn, I've got to go. See you later. See you later. And then next time they go out, they're still at the sixth in round. So by the time, before you know it, you've been out 10 times. This person's never brought around. He's getting a night paid for himself every time. That's the
Yeah.
kind of person they are.
He's like that
Like,
little shit at the end of, at the end of in college or like high school, when you were like at the end of the class, the teacher's forgotten about the fucking homework and he puts his hands up and goes, "Miss, there was homework." That's that type of
yeah,
person.
yeah,
Like that little
exactly that type of person. I used to be at school, believe it or not, and I didn't used to get my homework done. So I'd be there in the class, and I'd forget all about it. And someone would be like, "Have you done your homework for whatever it is, English?" No. And I'd be in maths, and I'd be like, "Shit! Like, this teacher's gonna fucking, she's got it in for me. I need to get this done." So I'd be there in maths. I'd be trying to do English homework while I'm in that. Maths teacher would be kicking off like, "You ain't done this work there." I'm like, Jesus, I've got to try and weigh up my options here. What do I do? Do my maths work in this class and take the hit that I ain't done the English homework, or just try and get the English homework done, take a bit of a bollocking from the maths one that's not as bad as the English one, and hand that in. Oh, mate, it was constantly weighing up my options and trying to avoid like trouble.
Yeah, I was pretty similar. I used to
The
sit
only
next to a guy called Andre from Mexico. He just moved to Australia from Mexico, and his dad was a maths teacher at the university. And
yeah,
I was crap at maths, still am. And I was like, I made friends with him because I was like, "Oh, this guy's well good at maths. I'm gonna, I want to sit next to him." So I used to sit next to him. I used to give him a nod and say, "Oh, Andre, if you let me," because he always used to finish like 20 minutes before everyone because he was well good at maths. I was like, "If you let
yeah.
me see your paper, I'll buy you something from the canteen." And I had the best year of maths, mate, I've ever had, because I used to have
Oh,
Andre slipping me his flipping algebra notes, and I would buy him a chocolate milk or something for like $1. And my parents were well chuffed. They said, "Oh, you've really progressed. You must be working hard." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm working well hard."
yeah. You work smarter, not harder. That was like an investment, wasn't it? It was like he was on
Yeah,
your payroll, wasn't he? You were paying him to like help you.
yeah. Well, there's
Like,
nothing wrong with thinking outside the box, kids. Keep
you know
going.
what? You know what Bill Gates used to say, don't you? Give the laziest people the hardest tasks because they'll find the easiest way to do it. Well,
Yeah,
yeah. On that note, anyway, we'll call it a day. Great to catch up with you again, Max, and
yeah.
try and get another one out with you soon. God knows what Tom's doing. He's probably like laying on a beach with his feet up and a cocktail in his hand or something. What do you reckon?
I reckon he's going from influencer spot to influencer spot in Mexico. I saw he's at Tulum Beach. Next thing he'll be in flipping Christ the Redeemer in Brazil taking selfies. So we'll see where he's at.
He reckons that latest I heard before Cozumel, for people that don't know, he had 3 punches in Cozumel, so had a nightmare. Didn't finish. Absolutely gutted about it because he seemed like he was getting a bit fitter in the last few weeks. Because Max was seeing the training and going, "Flipping heck, he's doing all his training in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Like, is he going to be right?" And it actually seemed like he would improve quite a lot. Like, I mean, I saw some of his rides in Strava and he was riding like 42, 43 k's an hour. I thought, actually, it's looking bright for him here. He might actually get around this and actually get like a respectable result. So he's absolutely gutted that he had that. But I know what he said to me before that race was, "I've actually gained a lot of fitness in the last 3 or 4 weeks. I think I'm going to have a week off after the race. Like, this is obviously hoping if it went well, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to smash the training." And I'm going to do an early season race. And he was looking at doing either Ironman New Zealand or Ironman South Africa, and giving that a good crack. And if he does actually stick to what he said and have a week off and then bangs out some training, he could do all right, couldn't he, Max? In
Yeah.
with 4 months of good training. The thing is, will he stick to doing 25 hours training a week or not? Like, that's the
To be continued.
yeah, to be continued. We'll find out, guys, when we catch up with him in a week's time. It's probably best we didn't have him on the show this week because he was absolutely steaming after that race and not being able to finish. He was not a happy bunny. But I reckon he's probably cheered up a lot now. And when we get him on next week, we'll see what the latest update is from him.
All right, mate. Good to chat. See you soon.
See you later.
See ya.